Today, we're talking about this guy. I'm gonna call it a full review because I beat the living crap out of it on my trip in Iceland. And there were some things I enjoyed about it, and there were some things I didn't like about it. In my previous video up here, you can see some reasons why I didn't like it initially, which those still stand. You just can't fit a lot of stuff in here, but it does make a good everyday bag, which is what it's called. So let's just get into it. All right, so let's talk about some of the cool things I liked about this bag and some of the things I found obnoxious or annoying about this bag that I feel like were just really overlooked, even though they sent this bag out to a bunch of creators before they mass produced it. But we'll start with the good and then we'll talk about the bad. The good things. Number one, the material, it's solid. They did pick a good material. The quality of the material is great. And I specifically said the quality of the material for a reason, because quality control, not so much. So it's made out of this weather resistant or water resistant, waterproof material. I don't know how water resistant or waterproof it is, but I did use it in Iceland in the pouring rain by waterfalls. It got soaking wet, and none of my gear, you'll understand why I did that in a second, got wet in my bag, getting literally poured on. So the sealed zippers, everything went really well. It did a really good job of keeping everything water sealed and watertight, which was super nice. So that was a big benefit and a big plus, because other bags like my low pro bag have a rain cover, and this is basically already just ready to go in the water. I wouldn't throw it in the water, but I was impressed. We'll just say that, because when I say I got wet, like really wet. So next thing, while we're on the topic of the material, I abused this. I threw this on the ground, I threw it in the water, I threw it in the dirt and the rocks, because you have to get things out of the back by unzipping it and then, lifting it that way. So as you can see on the front, I have a lot of markings and stuff on it, but if I just wiped it off with a rag, it'd probably come clean. It's pretty dirty, but it's not ripped, it's not dented, it doesn't show signs of wear other than being dirty. So we're talking I abused it, throwing it on the ground, putting it in dirt, putting it in snow, etc. And it survived. I didn't rip it or anything. So, like, again, they did pick a good material, quality material of the bag. We'll call this number 3. That technically would have been 2 things. The padding. The padding is really nice. So the shoulder strap padding is very comfortable. It wasn't bad to wear. I wore this on every single hike we went on. I wore it throughout the trip. That was really heavy. And the back padding was also super nice. And the way that they designed this back padding works well because it doesn't make you sweat your back off. Literally, other bags I've had make me just drenched in sweat. And this did a really good job of keeping me not too warm on the backside. And it's also very nicely padded, which also saves your laptop, which is another thing I wanted to mention about the padding. I had my laptop in here with my camera gear, and this fell out of the back of an SUV. It's about a 2-foot drop, straight onto the corner where my laptop was on the back. And my laptop didn't have nothing, no scratches, no dents, nothing. It was great. So the actual padding in here as well, where the laptop goes, it's very thick, solid. They did a good job designing the actual padding of the camera bag. Even in the front, it's padded, and the inside where my camera gear was untouched by falling from 2 feet. And that's pretty far for a backpack. When's the last time you threw your backpack from more than 2 feet in the air? So those are the good things outside wise, liked that. And then lastly, with the outside, this water bottle slot, on most backpacks I own, it's barely or not big enough for my really big water bottle. And this does fit a nice large water bottle along with the Peak design or other smaller travel tripods. So that is also a huge benefit because you wanna be able to fit your tripod on the side. All right, the inside of the bag. So I bought the cubes. I spent all this money on the extra cubes, 2 small, 1 large, and I honestly don't think they're that usable. That was my most excitement about the bag, was having those, you know, cubes, because I thought it was gonna be super cool having a very modular bag. I ended up just taking the dividers out and putting them in my bag instead. So I should have just bought the dividers and not the cubes, because I don't really see myself using the cubes. Because most of the time my gear stays in a case until I'm ready to use it. I don't like keeping it in the cubes or in a random spot. I only put it back there for show, for the video. And then having this accessible spot was also very nice. Being able to access the front from the inside of the bag here was very beneficial, so I didn't have to close it and then open this top part, but it's also closed off so that if I did put like a coat or something in the top here, which I did that often, it doesn't shoot out of the back when you open this back up. So padded, super nice. It fit 1 lens, 1 camera, my drone, controller, mic, and then, you know, some other stuff here. And then, you know, charger for my laptop and headphones up top, stuff like that. So that inside worked super well. You know, then you have a spot for extra batteries and all the other stuff. So the bag itself worked out super nice, and I was impressed with the quality of the material, the zippers, the waterproofness, and everything else. It was just a pretty good, solid, everyday bag, which is what it's made for. But there were some downsides that are really annoying. Others, I guess they're manageable. So let's talk about those. I'm gonna start with smaller ones and go to bigger ones for you. Number 1, it only has a chest strap, no waist strap. It's in like the category of bag or backpack that is hard to say if it should have a waist strap or not. So I'm not too mad about that, but it would have been nice because you can put enough stuff in here to make this a pretty heavy bag or backpack. But that's okay. Second, these are super nice water bottle or tripod holders, and they have the little magnet, which is super cool. But if you have something that's like big enough to need it unmagnetized, but not big enough to make it stretch, it doesn't fit in there nicely. It kind of just flops around in here. Like if you put a Gorilla Pod, it kind of just plopples around in there because it's not big enough. So I wish this elastic was a little bit smaller or had like another setting that was about halfway. So I had to always strap down my Gorilla Pod, which like ends here, and the straps are up here. So it was kind of hard, or else it would literally just fall out if I tilted too much to one side. So that's not like a huge deal, but it was kind of annoying. Next, this almost killed my laptop. And yes, earlier I did say this bag saved my laptop, but then it almost killed it. So, right up here, you have your zipper for your laptop portion, where your laptop opens. And it has this little hard piece, which is nice to grab. But you see how it hangs right here? It just chills there. If you unzip your bag, it gets stuck on that zipper all the time. And it's super annoying because it just gets stuck. And here's the worst part. It's closed right now. And if you have your zippers on the opposite side and you zip, sometimes these zippers get caught on each other and you end up opening both zippers. I can't do it right now because it kind of just happens naturally. Sometimes you open it all the way, your laptop sleeve, And sometimes, see, it's stuck again. Sometimes it just opens a little bit, which you may not think is a big deal, but there's, you know, I can fit a finger or two in there. Now, one, obviously, if you accidentally opened this while you were zipping it back up, your laptop would be vulnerable to just falling out. And that's not good. That is an oversight that is really frustrating. I'm tempted to take off the hard piece of the laptop zipper just so it stops getting stuck, because that's not good. But the bigger issue was I had it unzip just a little bit when I closed my bag up. And as you can imagine, if there's a little bit of a gap and it starts raining like heck, or you're in a lot of water, like a waterfall where there's a lot of mist, water can get in there. And I didn't realize water got in there, or a lot of moisture got in this slot by having just a little piece open. So I put my laptop in there later on that day and closed it all the way up and sealed it. And as you can imagine, this being a waterproof bag, it seals that compartment. So when I got my laptop back out the next day, it was soaking wet. Yeah. There was so much moisture in here and it attached itself to my laptop, which isn't good. So that's annoying. And it almost killed my laptop by letting water in, because it does have a little nice zipper spot for the zipper to go to make sure it doesn't have any opening for water to get through. And it works really well if it's zipped up. So I had to, you know, keep an eye on that the rest of the trip because I didn't realize that was a thing that happens. So be aware of the laptop zipper slot, because that may kill your laptop. So yeah. And then I think there's just one last thing that I just really, that was really frustrating with this laptop. This top portion is actually really nice. You have, you know, a pretty large area that you can make smaller or larger depending on how much stuff you want to fit in the other half of the bag. But you have this little gap. You can fit your hand down. You can see where I'm going with this, right? So when you have things in this compartment, like a charger, battery, SD card, even a pouch of SD cards, anything small in here, it just goes right in here immediately as soon as you pick up the laptop, and everything just gets stuck in there. So you really have to utilize these little side sleeves for your little stuff, and there's only 2 of them, so you can't fit everything in there. Otherwise, it's just gone in here, and it's a pain in the butt. They could have put like another, you know, piece of Velcro or something right there so that it Velcroed. I mean, I might even add a piece of Velcro right here, boop, right on this top piece. That actually probably fixed my problem. And that's one of my bigger problems because that was really frustrating. So lastly, this isn't really every person's going to have this issue. This is just something that I had issues with, and it's just quality control. They said they did quality control testing and looking before everything shipped out, but I don't think they did, or a very good job. Because for example, I don't know how well you can see this indent here, but this is a permanent indent made by too tight of fabric or something with the zipper that causes this to have a really bad indentation right where the zipper is. And it gets even worse when you put stuff in the bag and you put weight on the bag and stuff like that. There's also another one right here. You can kind of see where it happens, and it only happens when the bag is full and has stuff in it, but the tighter the outside is, the worse this gets pushed in. And it's just, I mean, even up top, you can see wrinkles because of that indent, and there's wrinkles elsewhere. The material is just not super tight, like right here. This is the way it looked originally when I got it. You can see my unboxing video. So the quality of production just wasn't that great, and I've heard many other people have the same issue. So that is unfortunate for a bag that cost me roughly $585, and that's with the sling and everything else, but it is still disappointing that you spend that much money and you don't even get like good quality control on these. And I know they were in a hurry because they had so many delays, but other than that, the bag was pretty good to me. I did enjoy using it. It was a nice bag, backpack. I'll continue to use it as time goes on. One last thing, Cuts t-shirts. One, they came out with the swimsuit for men. It's a dashing swimsuit. As you can see on screen here, it looks great. I'm not the best model, I'm sorry, but super comfortable, very nice material. I love the colors. They also just came out with a women's clothing line, so you can use my link in the description below if you're interested in buying any of their stuff. I took their swim shorts to the Blue Lagoon in Iceland, and I thought it was awesome. So, that's really it for today, guys. I hope this video helped and you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.